Nobody expected this. A major international summit, slowly unraveling before it even began. Not because of war, not because of conflict, but because of something far quieter, a loss of confidence. What happened in Johannesburg became more than a diplomatic hiccup. It became a case study, a modern reminder of what happens when a country's internal challenges begin to echo beyond its borders. This is not a news report. This is a look at patterns that have shaped nations for centuries. Stay with me. The scene was set perfectly. Banners raised, streets cleaned, cameras ready. The host nation hoped the summit would signal stability, capability, and leadership. But something felt off. One absence turned into two. Rumors became confirmations, and soon the world's most influential seats stayed empty. Flags stood where presidents should have been. Corridors meant for delegation traffic became strangely quiet. It was a moment that forced a hard question. What makes the world show up, and what makes it walk away? To understand this moment, you need the bigger picture. Nations don't lose global trust overnight. It happens slowly, through small cracks that widen over time. Power cuts, infrastructure strain, institutions under pressure, growing uncertainty around long-term stability. None of these issues alone collapse a summit, but together they build a signal other nations quietly read. History shows this pattern again and again. Spain in the 1600s, Ottoman Empire in the late 1800s, Argentina in the early 2000s. Great nations rarely fall suddenly. They fade gradually, and the world adjusts its expectations. In Johannesburg, that adjustment became visible. Some global powers stepped back without dramatic statements. No protests, no confrontations, just silence. In diplomacy, silence is never neutral. It is a message, and that message was this: the world no longer moves by sentiment. It moves by performance. But here's the important part. This moment wasn't only about one summit, one country, or one political cycle. It reflects something larger, a shift in how global influence works in the 21st century. For decades, symbolic leadership mattered. Today, nations are judged on reliability, infrastructure, stability, and strategic value. The world is faster, competition is sharper, and patience is shorter. This is not punishment, it's realignment. Inside the host nation, people felt it differently. For them, this wasn't geopolitics, it was a mirror. Daily realities many already lived through. Power outages, transport issues, slow institutions, economic uncertainty, suddenly reflected back from the international stage. And mirrors are uncomfortable because they don't show what we hope to see, they show what is. But sometimes, clarity is the beginning of change. If you look closely, this event carries a strange type of hope. Throughout history, nations that hit moments of public disappointment often enter phases of renewal afterward. Japan after 1945, South Korea in the 1980s, Rwanda after the 90s, even the United States after the Great Depression. Pressure forces direction, and direction creates focus. The question is never, why did something collapse? The real question is, what will rise after it? In today's world, the global stage is shifting fast. The United States remains powerful. China is recalibrating. India is ascending. Africa is becoming strategically essential. But influence is no longer guaranteed to anyone. Not to continents, not to alliances, not to history. It is earned through capacity, credibility, and consistency. That's the new equation. So what does the Johannesburg moment truly teach us? Not that a nation failed, Not that diplomacy broke down, but that global expectation has changed. Symbolism is fading, performance is rising, and nations, every nation, must adapt. This isn't a warning, it's an invitation. Because inside every difficult moment lies an opportunity to reset the direction of a country, to strengthen institutions, to rebuild trust, to refocus national purpose, to step back onto the global stage with clarity instead of illusion. History always remembers the same thing, not how nations stumble, but how they stand back up. What happened in Johannesburg may feel like a setback, but in the timeline of history, it could become a turning point. The moment where expectation met reality, and reality sparked renewal. The next chapter has not been written yet, but if the past is any guide, moments like this often mark the beginning, not the end. Stay with this story. It's far from over.